She's a regular on the Australian folk music scene, and her Irish heritage is never far from the surface. Today she performs one of her own works, accompanied by James Hazelden on the cello.
Beautiful view, I'll always remember the moment I fell for you. Such a beautiful view. Come and dance with me, I'll follow your lead. Come on and dance with me, 'cause right now you're everything I need. Years gone by, so many memories I see in the light in your eyes. All those years gone by. Come and dance with me, I'll follow your lead. Come on and dance with me, 'cause right now you're everything I need. I wanna hold this moment just as long as I can. If we had our time over, I would do it again. Come and dance, dance with me. And when the tables turn, bum, 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 we'll be watching the bridges burn. Bum, 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 bum. And I need you now. I try to let go, but I just don't know how. And I need you now. Come and dance with me, I'll follow your lead. Come on and dance with me, 'cause right now you're everything I need. I wanna hold this moment just as long as I can. If we had our time over, I would do it again. Come and dance, dance with me. Dance with me.
Chloe Hall, thanks for joining us on Sunday Arts.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
And that was so beautiful to hear you sing, and the performance just then, it was quite an exquisite song. And Dance With Me is what it's called.
That's right.
And apparently it's about some research that you did with people living with Alzheimer's, is that right?
Oh, kind of. A little while back I facilitated a songwriting workshop with a group of songwriters from Wonthaggi, and it was for Dementia Awareness Month, and we were working from interviews with people who were caring for someone with dementia. And normally when I'm in that kind of role, I don't actually write a song myself, but the material was so inspiring that I couldn't help myself. And so the song is kind of in two parts, and the interview that I was reading was with a man who was talking about when he first met his wife. And he described, he grew up in a country town, and he described the rumour mill working overtime as word went round that a very beautiful woman was moving to the town to live. And he and his brother went down to check her out, and he just described that moment where they were up on the hill and her friend came up with her, and she walked up the hill, and he said the first moment that he saw her, he turned to his brother and said, sorry mate, she's mine. And which was beautiful. And he said, and I don't mind saying it was a beautiful view. And but now, look, it'd be 52 years later now, and she's in high care. She has late stage dementia. Most of the time she has very little recognition of him, but he goes every day. And he feels that he needs to go and visit her more than she actually needs it. But through everything, he said, you know, the diagnosis, living with it, everything, he wouldn't change anything because she's the love of his life. So that was one part of it. And the other part of the chorus was from going to an Alzheimer's Australia conference a few years ago. And at the end of the workshops and all the seminars, at the very last night, they had a dance band playing the dance hall classics of the day, you know. And at the very end of the night, the elderly couples got up and they danced, and you couldn't tell who had dementia and who was a carer because their bodies remembered the dance, and they moved around that dance floor like they were back in their 20s courting again, and I just found that so moving.
So every time you sing that song, are you sort of brought back to that moment when you saw that on stage? Or?
Yeah, I really am. Like I just found it so touching, particularly because a lot of those people had been taking part in workshops, and it's very difficult, you know, especially with people with late stage dementia. The behaviour is very erratic. Sometimes they can be encountering anger and very difficult things, and then there was just this moment where there's just like full recognition and love and memory, and it's a very beautiful thing.
What I really enjoyed watching was yourself and James, of course, on stage, is that it's such a simple setup. I mean, it's just a cello, it's yourself on guitar and voice. Why that sort of setup, I suppose? It's not very traditional in many ways.
Yeah, I've always just loved cello, and I was really excited when I met James because he brings so much energy to it. You know, he's not a traditional kind of classical player, although he does have that background, but he also kind of comes from a much sort of edgier background. He brings that kind of edgier, you know, like in his own music, he's almost like busker punk, you know, so he's got a lot of rawness to him, and I love it. So it's kind of a mixture of that gentleness and almost melancholy and warmth of the cello with that kind of edgy approach. It's just, I feel like it's a really full sound with the guitar and the harmonies.
Your new album is coming out a little later on this year, but you actually went and got it mixed in Nashville. That sounds very romantic.
Well, yeah, it does. That was one of the things that I wanted to do for a long time. I worked with Brad Jones, who I've just, you know, he's amazing. I figured, James and I toured Canada for 3 months last year, and I figured, well, we're over there already. And we just kind of went out on a limb and kind of contacted Brad, and amazingly kind of it worked out, and we had this incredible time in Nashville.
That sounds pretty fun to me.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Chloe Hall, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks so much, it's been a pleasure.
And you can catch Chloe playing at a peace concert at the Melbourne Town Hall on Saturday, August the 9th.